Hello and welcome to Morris Park. Today I'm going to show you a little something here that has become a major pest in my greenhouse. And this particular pest is a farmer for a lot of the other pests in my greenhouse. This is ants, folks. I don't know if you can really see them. See them running up and down there. And I don't know if you can see them in here. Yeah, see them all down there? See those moving around? They're little black ants. These guys are a major pest in my greenhouse. And they are responsible for actually farming other pests like scale, mealybugs. I have two different kinds of scale that they farm in here, which is both cactus scale and citrus scale. And they also farm mealybugs. And as you know, these are really bad pests in the greenhouse. These ants, the reason they farm these things is because of the simple fact that they get honeydew from these insects. And what they do is they take and they pick these insects up, move them around, and place them on things like this tangerine tree. And these ants don't necessarily live on the ground, they live under things, such as this mulch. And they're really kind of hard to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them down real good with neem oil, and that's just like a major eviction notice, and saying, hey, get out of here, we don't want you anymore. It will kill some of them, but I'm going to have to stay on this and on this and on this, probably for a few weeks, because of the fact that they are so prevalent and they are so hard to get rid of. It's easier to do in a smaller pot, because then you can just unpot the item, and I'll show you that in a minute, and get rid of them, and get rid of the soil and them, the eggs and everything else, the whole nest, and then replant the plants in fresh soil. With this tree here, it's a little bit harder because it's such a large pot. So I don't want to take the whole thing out and wash the roots off and all that, which would be hard on the tree too. With cactus and succulents, it's a little easier because you can take them out of the pot, shake all the soil off the roots, get new soil, and replace it all and be fine, and get rid of the ants. But in something like this, it's a little harder. So what I'm going to do is I have some neem oil and a pump sprayer. And so what I'll do is this. And I'll just soak this mulch down real good. And I'll soak the tree down, as you can see me doing here. And just thoroughly soak this mulch down so they're not going to really like where they're living. And I'll just kind of move this mulch around a little bit, spray under it. There you go. Get all this sprayed down really good, because I just really can't stand these guys, and I want them out of here. So I'm just going to kind of harass them here real bad. This will kill some of them, but as I say, I'm still going to have to keep up with this and keep it sprayed for probably a few weeks, and I'll probably do this once a week for a while. Just to try to get rid of these guys. And hopefully they won't spread a bunch of citrus scale or something like that, or mealybugs, on my tangerine tree here. And it's just going to be getting ready to put out flower buds here pretty quick. I've noticed some growth in it on some of the upper branches, in the axils of the leaves and so forth, that it is going to start growing here. So I would like to try to get this taken care of right now and spray this down. Neem oil is a good organic pesticide, and it doesn't have any chemicals to it. You can get it on your skin, not worry about it. So I like to use it instead of chemical pesticides. And some of the chemical pesticides to get rid of ants anyway, they're like a granule, and you spread them on the soil surface. Problem is, if you're doing it on a food crop such as this tangerine tree, it's not real good, because it can get up into the tree, and we don't want to eat that. So anyway, spray this down really good, and then I'll move on to the next deal and show you how I'm going to do this with a small pot. Alright, I think that'll be good for right now. Now for this here, you see this nice little arrangement I've got here of how Haworthias. Every time I water this, I've noticed ants coming out of it. So basically what I'm going to do, and you can see I've kind of got this in a little wooden drawer looking thing, Haworthia. this little wooden drawer looking thing. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to dump the rocks out of it, dig the plants out, and get rid of this nest. I'm sure they're in there. I can't see them right now, but every time I water this thing, I see ants come out of it. So in order to get rid of this and to get rid of our little farmers here of pests, I'm going to dump this out of all the rocks first. Just kind of do that. Let's see here. Get some of them dumped out of there. And then let's pull this out and see what we get. I'll just kind of loosen this up a little bit with a knife. And then we'll just kind of pull these out. And see what kind of little beasties we got in here. Let's see here. I know it seems a little bit drastic. Let's see. I don't see any right away. These Haworthias are pretty tough. You don't really have to be too careful with them. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, I'm not seeing any quite yet. Take this one out. I don't see them yet, so I'm not sure where they were coming from. Let's see here. Get this guy out. Dig it out. Oh, I think I see them now. Actually, they weren't actually in the soil so much. But see? See that? Take this out. Look at that, folks. Look at that. They are everywhere. So the best thing to do with this is to wash the plants off, get rid of this soil, and start over. I'll mix up some new soil and get rid of these ants, get some new soil, repot these, and make them happy plants again. So I don't have this nest in here. Look at that. See, they don't actually live in the dirt so much as they live under things. And man, they are a real pain. I've dealt with these things for years, and they actually even get into our house and everything else. And instead of living, like I said, they don't live on the ground, they live under things and in things. Like they can live in the floors of your house, they can live in the walls, they can live in these pots like this, under your pots. I frequently pick up pots and find whole nest of ants underneath the pots, not in soil or anything else. They're just underneath everything. And man, are they just a pain. So I'm going to get rid of this and wash these plants off, and we'll start over. Okay, now I've got my mix all made up, my dolomite coconut coir potting mix. There's a little bit of perlite in there. And I'm going to fill this back, and you're probably wondering, why are you planting this in a plastic bag? Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I kind of like the little drawer as a planter, and I want to protect the drawer from rotting out too quickly. So I've had them in here for a couple years now, and they've done actually pretty well, and the drawer hasn't rotted out too bad or anything. And so that's what I'm going to do. And in just a second, I'm going to have all these planted back up, and I've washed the roots off in these things and kind of checked them for ants, and I don't see any more ants or anything. I shoveled up all the ants, got rid of them into the woods. And so now I'm going to repot all these back and give them their home back. Okay, I've got them all planted back in nice, fresh, and free dolomite coconut coir mix. They should do pretty good in this. I've got one other pot I'm going to have to redo. It's got my Cameacerius in it. They've really kind of drained it out. The problem with these guys, they get under these roots of these things, and they tunnel them out, and the roots dry out, and these plants just kind of shrivel up before you know what's going on. Luckily, when I watered this for the first time this season, I noticed the ants just start pouring out of it. So I knew I was just going to have to change the soil in this. It's much easier than spraying these little ones to just take them all out, freshen the soil up, get rid of these pests, and get this going on. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a little crushed lava rock. I'm going to put it around these plants for top dressing, and I'll be done. Okay, so now I've got them all planted up. I've got the lava rock in there again as top dressing. I'm not going to water these for about 2 weeks and just kind of let them settle in. These Halworthias can almost take being set out in bare root for 2 weeks and it won't hurt them. So any root damage that might have been done on here, I'll keep the water away from them. That way they can help heal up in drier soil and get ready to grow again. So all I got to do left now is I'm just going to spray the top surface of this down with some neem oil. And that's just to keep any of these stragglers from coming back and wanting to make a home in here. And that's all I'm going to do to it. Just spray it down a little bit, and that should keep them out for now, because right up above where I keep these, I've got a pot full of the Chamaecyarius, and I know they're infested. And tomorrow, I'll be getting after those guys too, and I'll try to get rid of these pests quick as possible. I know I'm not going to be done with these. These guys invade my greenhouse all the time, as well as everything else around here. When I put plants out on benches and everything, they get underneath them, and I'll have to treat them too. So anyway, this is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. I hope you have a good night.